Hey guys, this is Joshua Seth, voice of Tai on Digimon, and you're listening to Anime Secrets.
Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Oh yes, this is Goldar, and you're listening to Toku Secrets Podcast. Don't tune us out, tune us in.
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin time! Link to the Morphin. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Spoken Silver.
I'm Patrick Allen, I'm Shinken Red.
And I'm Ridwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And I'm Anthony Davis, also known as Curie Green. And we're Toku Secrets.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Toku Secrets Podcast, once again presented by animesecrets.org. And today we are back to reviewing Engine Sentai Go-Onger. Last time for our debut on this Sentai, we took a look at episodes, or GPs in the case of this Sentai, 1 through 5. And today we are going to be taking a look at 6 through 10. So we don't have as much to cover this time around because, first podcast we were, mostly kind of just getting a taste. And we gave our opening tier rankings for each of our main 5 Go-Ongers, which you guys can go back and check out that podcast to kind of see what the consensus was. So, now we're just going to be talking about these episodes as we go on. So, go on. Totally
go
pun
on.
intended.
Ha 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 ha.
I totally walked right into that.
I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Yeah.
One of us.
No, he's one of Red's.
Anyway, let's recap everything from our previous Go-Onger episode. So to give the basic gist of the Go-Onger story, we got a clan of living machines from the machine world called the Gattai. They've come to the human world, that's our world, to make it habitable for them by trying to pollute it. And there's these 3 beings called engines from the machine world. They're sentient animal vehicle hybrids. They drove the Gattai away from the machine world, and now they've arrived here to team up with humans to as their partners to fight against the Gattai. Their partners are called Go-Ongers. Our 3 Go-Ongers include the hyperactive and hot-headed yet good-hearted former racer Sosuke Isumi. He is Go-On Red, and his partner is Condor Sports Car Hybrid Speedor. We have intelligent and kind former bus driver Renko Saka, Go-On Blue. His partner is the Lion Bus Hybrid Buson. And a ditzy yet bubbly and sweet former food vendor. Her name is Saki Royama. She's Go-On Yellow, and a partner of the Bear Recreational Vehicle Hybrid, Bear RV. And so they were already Go-Ongers at the start of the series, and then in the first 2 episodes, they encountered this strict, no-nonsense, and tough former detective Gunpei Ishihara and this dim-witted yet, ultimately kind pizza delivery man Hanto Joe. They wanted to become Go-Ongers too, and they joined the team. After proving themselves, Gunpei is Go-On Black, and the partner of a German Shepherd police car hybrid, Gunford. And Hanto is Go-On Green, partner of the Orca motorcycle hybrid, Burka. And together, they are Engine Sentai Go-Onger, and they are guided by a rabbit-like navigation robot called Bomper. They travel around in their mobile home called the Genjiro, and they protect the world from the Gattai, and the Gattai are led by Land Pollution Minister Yogo Stein, Air Pollution Minister Kita Nades, and Water Pollution Minister Kega Lisa. So, that about wraps up for the recap. Now we're going to jump right into GP06, The Maiden's Heart. This is a filler episode revolving around Saki. It's also the first appearance of another mech formation, which I'll get to in a second. Pretty much, Saki befriends this flute player. Sosuke thinks that they've fallen in love and that they're going to get married, and he's going out of his way to protect her. We get the debut of Engine-O Gunford, where Gunford links up with Engine-O as the right arm and becomes a gun-like weapon. And a little bit of a fun fact here, the flute player, Seiji Ogawa, that's his name. His actor is Keisuke Minami, and it's going to take him a while, but 9 years after this Sentai came out, he would go on to play Tsuruki Otori, or Ho-Oh Soldier, the 6th Ranger of Uchu Sentai Q-Ranger, which, by the way, I'm currently watching right now, and I'm not a big fan of it, but I'll talk about that later when I get to it.
2 quick comments on that. First, yes, he will go on to play Otari. That's correct.
Oh, Lord.
You stop that.
No.
Stop that right now.
Nathan walked into it. I had to let him know what he walked into.
He did, but you showed no self-restraint on going for it yourself.
Why would I show self-restraint?
I thought you were the mature one here.
Patrick. When have I ever shown restraint?
Okay, that's it. I'm out. Peace. You can do this without me.
Stop.
I'm laughing when you say you were the mature one. Like,
my second and more serious comment. How do you tell which one's a 6 Ranger and Q Ranger of all things?
I think what Anthony was telling me is that, and I've seen enough of Q Ranger to kind of know this, that they have this stupid thing where only 5 Rangers can go down to Earth at one time, but then Ho-Oh Soldier keeps showing up as the literal 6th Ranger. So I don't know. I mean, I still got a few episodes before I see this thing, but I think that's how it works. And that's what the Sentai Wiki
because it's due to... I'm sorry.
All I was going to say is, they have that stupid rule of only 5 can go down at a time, which I don't really like. But go on, Anthony.
It's due to budget. It's due to budget reasons, because like they couldn't have them all on screen for every episode. So what they do is they have it to where like 5 can show up each episode, and then eventually when the 6th one shows up, he takes the lead of being the 6th one.
Gee, it's almost like having 9 Rangers at the start of the series overplayed your hand, Toei.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they should have kept it to 5 or 6 people total. Well,
yeah.
I mean, look, I've only seen like 14 or 15 episodes, if I remember correctly, and then I just got kind of bored.
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I know you did.
It was not pleasant.
I mean, okay, so I didn't hate the obvious things that everyone else did. I didn't mind the obvious things that everyone else hated. I thought it was annoying, but it wasn't worth like a rant like other people can have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when we're talking about the Sentai, I don't understand how you have a 6 Ranger. But yeah, I get what you're saying, because I have seen enough to know that you're right, Anthony. But at the same time, it's just like, come on, guys. Could we have done something a little bit different here?
I mean, they literally give us a total of, 10 Rangers in less than 9 episodes? Like, come on.
No, you had like 10 Rangers in like 5 or 6. Don't even
There's
try.
11. There's 11 in the span of 12, because they start off with 9, and then by the 12th episode, you have that Ogami Sky Blue and the purple one.
The Commander, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryu Commander.
Yeah. Yeah, but, Patrick, you're looking into some fun stuff if we were to do this one.
I've heard nothing but bad things about that season, so I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah. But
luckily, we got some better stuff coming before that.
If you hate catchphrases, you're gonna hate Lucky's. Just FYI.
He's very lucky, and I hate him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though I will take Lucky over other Reds.
I still wouldn't. I still do not like him.
No.
But
okay. You can dislike him because I dislike him, but I'd rather him over other characters.
Oh no, I just like this for my own reason.
For sure.
Yeah.
Remember, I've watched the entire show, so I know I've seen it all.
Yeah.
So.
Nah, I know.
Well, what do we want to say about the Go-Onger episode, guys?
Oh yeah, we're talking about Engine Sentai Go-Onger, not
right.
I literally don't even remember watching this episode, to be honest with you.
I remember a good bit of it, and my big takeaway was this was a pretty good Saki-centric episode because Sosuke assumes incorrectly that C is gonna leave the team and go away, and he's trying to like push her in that direction. And C could have gone that direction pretty dang easily, but C decided, no, I love my team, I love what I do, I'm gonna stay with them. And she had some great internal strength she kind of showcased here, in my opinion. But in the grand scheme of things, this is a definite filler. Not a lot really to talk about here, minus what I just already said.
Honestly, I would like this a bit more if Saki was the complete focus, because the problem I have is that Sosuke does take up a little too much of this episode, where he was a jerk to Saki at the beginning, and then he becomes overly determined to make up for it. And okay, his misunderstanding over what's happening with Saki is pretty funny with how Gunpei messes up with the lip reading. But I don't know. It just seemed like an odd direction to take the episode. But at the same time, it's not one of those typical predictable types of episodes where like female ranger gets proposed to and then has to decide between getting married and staying on the team. Like that 2-part episode that didn't really need to be a 2-part episode in Jetman. So yeah, it's not bad. It's a little weird in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what's really weird, Nate? Because like when you were talking about the whole marriage thing, I legit thought you talking about RPM. I was like, wait, we talking about RPM? Because like because there was a marriage thing in that episode too, and I was like, wait, that did happen.
The RPM episode. I mean, I like that episode because of Summer's backstory, but that episode was also not really that.
It did not need to be two episodes. I mean, I like RPM too, and I will say this: that 2-part did not need to happen.
No, it could have been a single episode.
Yeah,
but I still like Saki's focus enough to give it a 7 for GP06.
Yeah, I would second a 7 here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, why not?
You're so lackluster here, Patrick.
I mean, I don't have anything to say.
Fair enough.
All right, let's jump into the next one here. GP07 Partner Amigo, where a new engine appears. That's the big part of this episode. So the Go-Ongers, they encounter another engine called Corrugator. He is an orange-colored alligator trailer truck engine hybrid, and he's part of a legendary race of GN, the GN race of engines. He arrives in the human world wanting to fight the Gaiark, and he gets lured into a trap to trick the Go-Ongers into thinking he's one of the Gaiark. And he's fighting against Gunpei and Hanto with Burka and Gunford, but then he sees the bond that they have, and he wants a similar bond, so he joins the Go-Ongers after they clear up that misunderstanding. And Corrugator was called the Croc Carrier in RPM. He's able to carry other engines on his back, and he can combine with Burka and Gunford to give Gunpei and Hanto their own mech called GunBir-O. That's all about the information I missed. So, what do we think about GunBir-O for starters, guys? What do we think about this one?
He's a little bit oddly shapen to me. Never been a fan of this look.
I don't like him. I'm gonna straight out say that right now, for the same reasons that Patrick said. But also, I do want to take a second and comment on the fact that Corrugator is probably very unnecessary for the grand scheme of the Sentai.
What makes you say that?
He's just a partnerless engine that's kind of there to just be a carrier Zord, but he wants a connection, like a partnership, but he doesn't get one.
I know, like I guess speaking
Like,
from knowing the whole season, Corrugator is kind of left in this weird place because, I mean, there's another mech like this. We'll see him in the next group of episodes. I think Jumbo Well.
Yep.
He has a much better role than Corrugator does. So, and it sucks
honestly,
too,
I
because
feel
I
like
genuinely like
Patrick.
Corrugator's personality. He's very whimsical for being such like the big brute of the engine so far. But his role is kind of unnecessary.
But exactly, that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, if they had written his character even a slightly bit different to where he's not looking for that kind of partnership and he's just kind of there to help out the team in general, that's different. But he specifically said, I want a partner. I want to have that same kind of connection you guys have with your partners, but he never gets that.
Honestly, I feel like the only reason that they even introduce him is just because they kind of realize that they're kind of in this situation where, with the mechs, where Gunpei and Hanto's mechs are really nothing more than just glorified auxiliary mechs. So they're thinking, okay, let's introduce this other mech so that they can have, a mech on par with Engine of their own. That seems to be like literally the only purpose for his character.
Yeah. I mean, and that's exactly it. He's just there to make another toy. And it's like they could have done more to integrate him into the story better. And that's my complaint about it.
Like, you could have even gone with a cliched story of just him. Like, first of all, you could have made this a two-parter instead of it just being a single episode, because way too much is happening in this episode for its own good. Like, literally, we introduced Corrugator and we shoved GunBir-O's debuting here. You could have done this similar to kind of how they debuted the Ushi Origami and Shinkenger, where you could have him be an engine that got corrupted and taken over by the Guy Arc, and maybe he's like an old friend to some of these engines, and it revolves all around them trying to like save their friend, kind of similar to what they did with the Steel Star Beast and Ginga Man. And I mean, it wouldn't have been, I mean, it wouldn't have been something really unique, but it would have been a better way to integrate him into the story, just with the idea that he's a friend of these engines, instead of just having him be this guy who shows up and says, "Oh, you guys got partners. I want a partner." That's cool.
It would have worked a lot better too, because the engines have much more personality than the Star Beasts do. And I like that idea now that you say it out loud. But
I just thought he was okay. I didn't dislike him or like overly thought like he's great or he's fantastic. I just thought he's okay.
But what do we want to give 7 out of 10, guys?
I'll still give it a 7, honestly.
Yeah,
I'll give it a 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 7's good.
7 all round.
All right, cool. Next, we have GP08, The Greatest Miracle, a Sosuke-centric filler episode where, so the first 3 engines, Speedor, Busan, and Bear RV, are crippled from the previous fight because they got rusted up and they can't access their modes. And the Guy Arc unleashed their latest plan, and Sosuke's trying to find a way to pull off a miracle to save the engines. The only other big thing that happens in this episode is that the Go-Ongers have their first encounters with Yogo Stein and Kitanatus in this episode. They already had their first encounter with Kegaleza in the episode where Gunpei and Hanto got Gunford and Burka. So they have their first fight with all 3 of the Guy Arc ministers in this episode. What do we think about this one, guys?
I think this is the episode Riz was alluring to last time about this being a good showcase of Sasuke's character. He made a rash decision. He showed his impatience, but then he learned that the only way to handle it was to like slow down and do it properly, and he did it. It wasn't in his comfort zone, but he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't see this kind of thing from hot-headed Reds too often in Sentai, that he's willing to.
No, you do not.
Yeah, he's willing to
that's
do
why
something
I like
that's
him.
out. Yeah, he's willing to do something out of his comfort zone if it means, getting the job done right.
He would actually try and stack all the coins and not give up.
He would have shown frustration, but he would have shown frustration, but he would have done it. Absolutely.
Yeah, he would have done it.
No, I mean, you can be a frustrated person and still do what needs to be done to help your team for the betterment of everyone, and not just say, nope, too hard. I'm going to go, just cry in a corner and then magically let myself get the powers even though I don't deserve them in the slightest bit.
Given the fact that this one comes after Geki Ranger, you almost kind of wonder if, like, the head writer of Go-Onger literally was watching John all throughout the previous year and said, wow, Michiko, you're doing a terrible job with this Red. And then she's all like, oh, yeah, well, can you do it better? And then he's like, okay, challenge accepted. And then he did Solsuke.
He really did. I mean, even further into the season, like, there are instances where I'm like, oh, no, please don't do the thing. And then it's like, no, he doesn't do it. He does something I don't expect, and I love it. Like in this episode. But this is actually not the one I was talking about, Patrick, when we were talking earlier.
Not?
No, there's another one later on. I think... Oh, man. Was it 11 or 12? I don't remember. I have to go... when we get to him, we get to it.
It might have been 11. If I remember correctly, I think it might have been 11. I could be wrong.
I think it's 11 I'm thinking of. But in any case, this is a good example as well. But the one I was alluding to was 11. No, it's 12. Sorry. I think.
Oh, it's 12. Okay.
Wait, no. I'll have to ask it offline. I don't remember anymore.
But yeah, I got nothing else to add with this. It's another pretty good filler episode. I'm thinking at least an 8 for me.
This is an 8 because it gives Sosuke something good to work with, and it makes him more likable and more defined than other idiots that came before him.
Yep.
Like, the hothead red trope can get very frustrating. And I'm not talking about the guy who came before him. I'm talking about other Reds as well at this point.
Yeah.
But in this case, he is willing to come out of his comfort zone, like Patrick said. He's willing to do what needs to get done for the better good of everyone. And he's very flexible in trying to better himself. And I think the lesson he gets here carries on. It's not like he forgets it tomorrow and goes back to being that stupid idiot he was before this. Like, he grows every time something happens, I think.
Patrick, you said 9. Anthony, what did you already say what you wanted to give it?
8.
Okay, cool. All right, let's move on to GPO9. Tomorrow's there. Hanto and Saki filler episode where they get captured in the junk world with a bunch of other civilians, and they have to work together to save them. We get a little bit of backstory for Saki in this episode. She always dreamed of owning her own cake shop, but then she got kicked out of school because her teacher said she had no sense of taste. But then the final scene reveals that she does have some talent for making cake. And also pretty nonchalant and a little, like, no big debut, but the Go-Ongers have the ability to combine their 2 combination weapons, the Highway Buster and the Junction Rifle, to become the Super Highway Buster, revealed in this episode. No big debut, just something to note. But yeah, that's all about it for this information. What do we think about this one?
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I love this episode giving more backstory and character development for Saki, because Saki is turning into a really awesome character for me. And so seeing that she has this dream of having her own cake shop, and she had trouble with school because she can't figure out the taste and all that, it's a nice touch and a nice flavor to the character here. Take that as you will.
I'm taking that as another one of your bad puns.
But I think this is a really good kind of build up for Saki to have some more characterization, and also Hanto is such a bro that he's just kind of there to support, and to me, he's becoming more like Goki.
Yes, he is.
Like Goki was there supporting everyone, and while Goki may not have been the focus of every episode, he was definitely a good supporting cast member in the centric episode that didn't deal with him.
He's the glue, the emotional glue that holds the team together. We can't hate a guy like that.
Nope. No. Yeah, the more I think about it, like I think I said in the previous podcast that I had Hanto listed as like the weakest of the characters, but the more I'm remembering, I think I put Gunpei as my least favorite because I genuinely really liked Hanto. Now, let me be clear. If I did say that Hanto was the weaker one, that's actually not that big of an insult for me because all of the Go-Ongers are great characters. It's like how I'm saying, it's like how we say that Kaguragi is the weakest of the King Ogers, or Mako is the weakest of the Shinkingers. Yeah, but that's not really a bad thing. I mean, that's just because there's so many other really great characters. But yeah, I'm starting to remember that I really do like Hanto, and it might kind of a hot debate over whether or not I would have him better than Ziggy or not. Although I'm kind of leaning toward that, but yeah, Hanto is proving to be a good
tough
character.
One. Like legitimately.
Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely give this one a 9 because it's a simple setup for an episode, but two great characters get to shine and we get a little bit more backstory for Saki. I mean, what's not to like about this?
Yeah, same here.
I agree.
I'm gonna give that an 8.
Okay, cool. All right, now let's move on to the final episode of this batch called GP10, Starting All Right, which is a big mech debut here, where Rin is working, where the Go-Ongers are battling against a new Banki-Ju, that's the name of the Gaiark's monsters. It begins using the Go-Ongers' attacks against them, so Rin is trying to work on this project. And the project turns out to be modifications to all 6 of the engines. This allows the Go-Ongers to combine Engine-O and GunBir-O to form Engine-O G6 formation. G6 because first six engines, G6. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. What do we think about Engine-O G6, by the way, guys?
Just a little thing about how I feel about Go-Onger. I think when it comes to its combined forms, it's one of, if not the best Sentai when it comes to designs. Like G6, G9, and eventually G12. I love all those designs.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing I can appreciate about this one, it's kind of similar to how they kind of did the can't remember, was it Super Daiboken or the Super Drive Max Megazord? Like, it reminds me a lot of that, where there's nothing overly complicated about this thing. You just take Corrugator, put him on the feet, and then add GunBir-O and Burka as arms as if they're in auxiliary formation, and then take that little headpiece and just put it on a different way. Simple and nothing that has to get overly complicated. Now, we're going to get overly complicated later on, but in a good way, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Debatable, but carry on.
But yeah,
I like.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
I liked Engine-O G6 a lot more than I liked. What was it called? GunBir-O?
GunBir-O? Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. I think that's a good looking mech, and this is what they should have done in the beginning. They should have just gone and made a second mech.
I forgot to mention this about GunBir-O too. The whole having that alligator head on your chest and it like folds out to do the finishing move, doesn't that seem kind of like a ripoff of Gao Hunter or the Predazord from Wild Force?
It does.
A little too much?
A little bit.
I mean, okay, let's be real. At some point, you're going to have to recycle ideas and use them over and over again.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's only so many ways you can build a mech. And when we get to C12, I have comments on that, but we'll save it for when we get there.
I mean, essentially, Racer, Robo, and Engine-O's finishers are the same thing, so who cares?
Yeah. But what do we think about GP10 as a whole, guys?
Honestly, I liked it a lot because we got a chance to see Ren kind of be showcased a little bit, and it gave him a chance to work more with Gunpei and Hanto, while Saki and Sosuke are off trying to hold him off. And I like that dynamic they had, and I just like that Ren, he started off to me like kind of I thought Ren would be comic relief, and he kind of is, given it's a parody kind of Sentai, but he's really kind of taking the mantle of being a super smart guy in his own right, kind of like a Billy or a Kendall or something.
Yeah.
He really does give off those vibes now that you say it.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Like, in the beginning, I was like, okay, this guy's just going to kind of be here to be comic relief in the same way that we had No-san and Kyoto.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't continue to give off the vibes after episode 1 or 2. He was kind of moved over to being the smart techie guy.
He's just very sure of himself, and it makes him come off as goofy, but his confidence is genuine. Like, he backs it up.
Yeah.
Well, because he can back up the talk, and that's the thing I like about him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely more of a unique Blue. I would definitely say he's the brains of the team. I don't know who I could I don't know who I could compare him to. I mean, I guess he's similar to Goki in that he's kind of everyone's big brother who's kind of taking care of them, the same way that kind of Goki was doing that. But like Riz said, Hanto is a bit more comparable to Goki than him. So yeah, he's a very unique Blue. And, I'm sorry if I keep saying this in every single podcast, but RPM producers, what were you thinking when you said that the Blue Ranger didn't have much of a personality in the Sentai when you...
That's what I want to know. I'm like, hold up, why would you even say that? Like,
I mean,
did we watch the same show?
Okay, so full disclosure, I'm going to say it once, and I'm hoping you guys in the podcast and those that are listening will remember this as we go through the rest of the Sentai review series. I have zero memory of RPM. I've watched it once. I thought it was all right. But I have zero memory, and I have very little memory of Flynn. I had to actually Google his name just now just so I knew what his name was again.
I mean, I will say that Flynn is probably the weakest character in RPM, so I don't fault you for that. I don't fault you for that.
I don't agree with that, but okay.
Well, I mean, there's an obvious one that's worse than him, Anthony, and I know who you're talking about. But that's an obvious pop shot. There's no subtlety to that one.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you can forget. I mean, the dude is Scottish. I mean, he, at least I may not remember his personality traits, but I can still remember the fact that he, is very, 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 very open about, his heritage. So I can respect that. That's just probably why I'm like kind of like, I disagree with you on that.
I mean,
that's all.
I'm
a RPM purist, so so sue me. So
okay, give me your address.
But what do we want to give 10 out of 10 guys?
I'm gonna give 10 an 8.
Yeah,
I think that's
reasonable.
fair.
Yeah, 8's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so as per for those back who didn't check our previous podcast, we've kind of removed the tier rankings. We're going to be doing that again once we get to the midpoint. Do we have anything we want to give regarding the general discussion here before we wrap up, guys?
No, we're just kind of like filling out Arsenal and stuff in this group of episodes. Nothing too in detail.
The one thing I can't believe I forgot to say this in the previous one, and I kind of want to do it here just to get it over with. If there's one thing I can appreciate from Go-Onger, it's that there are a lot of episodes in this season where we see the Go-Ongers take their helmets off and they appear in the suits without their helmets. I went on a whole tangent when Riz, Anthony, and I were reviewing the last couple of episodes of Dino Fury Season 2 in reaction to the scene where Amelia takes off her helmet. That I love scenes like that because it kind of aids the illusion that the actors are actually in the suits. Like Go on Red is not just some stunt dude in a suit. You can imagine Yasu Hisa, whatever his last name is, in the Go on Red suit. And this this Sentai does it way more than any other Sentai that I've seen. I honestly, and coming from someone who has seen everything up to Oger as well as King Oger, I don't remember that many other Sentais where they take their helmets off outside of the Henshin sequence. This one does it as frequently as like old school Zordon era seasons from like Mighty Morphin and Zeo.
It's so great. I love it. I wanted to mention that in the first group of episodes, but I forgot. And then I forgot we didn't talk about it in the first group, so I'm glad you brought it up because that's a huge plus for the season for me. Mm-hmm. That they can just chill in their mech after defeating the enemy with their helmets off and just talk in the cockpit.
Yeah, it's something that it's something that between the two shows, Power Rangers made it more of a tradition than Sentai did. So it is very refreshing for Go-Onger to do this.
Yeah,
I wish other ones did it as well. To be honest with you,
I mean the only other one I could probably say is Hurricaneger, which if you watch Ninja Storm, then you know that those helmets have retractable visors. So they do it a little bit they did it a lot in Go-Go 5, and they did it a lot in Hurricaneger. But even then, that's them retracting the visors, not taking the whole helmet off.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Did Go-Busters ever do that?
What's up?
Did Go-Busters ever do that? I don't remember if they did.
I think Go-Busters did it once the main three. I don't know about Beat and Stag, but yeah, the main three.
Beat and Stag never took their helmets off like that. Yeah, they did. I don't think Beat and Stag ever took their helmets off.
But yeah, I really appreciate Go-Onger doing this because, I mean, they did it. Okay, they didn't do it in season 1 of Mighty Morphin, but starting with like season 2, like we saw it in almost like every other episode all the way up until Zeo. But then like every season up until Time Force did it at least like 1 or 2 times. Like, I just wish that these things would happen more often. And in Sentai, they don't even have like this Go-Onger probably has more scenes of them helmetless in its whole runtime than like over half of the other Sentai, maybe even like the majority of other Sentais do combined. So I don't know why they chose this one of all ones to have them take the helmets off, but I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that little tangent was that was just a little tangent I want to go on. Do we want to add anything else before we close up, guys?
Nope.
No, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good too.
All right, guys. Well, everyone back home, we just wrapped up GP 6 through 10, and we'll be returning to Go-Onger again for a little short podcast next time to do GPs 11 through 14. Why are we only doing 4 next time? Well, you'll find out very soon. But yeah, we will see you guys next time when we return to Go-Onger. We will, and of course, we'll also be continuing our coverage of Boom Boomger once it reaches the episode 35. And we'll also be keeping track. We'll also be giving you guys more information about the Sentai for 2025 when that trademark drops. We'll talk about that when it comes. But yeah, we're looking forward to closing out the year of 2024 with a lot of fun stuff for you guys. And we will see you guys next time when we return to Go-Onger. But until then, bye for now.
If you enjoyed listening to the Toku Secrets podcast, please check us out at animesecrets.org and follow us on all our social media pages such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also feel free to check out our other podcasts, including Anime Declassified and the Jedi Squadron. You can also leave us any feedback you'd like to offer us directly on our website. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we thank you so much, and please leave us a rating out of 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave any comments down below, as we love to take the time to read comments left on our channel and give our fans, shout-outs. If you have any seasons of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, or other Tokusatsu shows that you'd like for us to check out, please don't hesitate to say so in your feedback. With all that said, we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast, and we will see you next time as we continue our never-ending journey through the world of Tokusatsu. But until that time, you all stay safe, we love you, and may the power protect you.